Hello, welcome. Today's topic is inspired by TikTok's ban tomorrow. I wanted to talk about my relationship with social media as a whole, and different apps that I used, and kind of analyzing what social media has been for me and what I want it to be going forward. So, as we're on the topic, I think we should start with the most popular social media by far, TikTok, and it's banned tomorrow. I think many people have different takes on it. People think TikTok is bad for, political reasons, for attention span reasons, or then there's the argument of TikTok being good for like creative, easier to promote your creative outlets in a way, you know? And then it's definitely a way to reach a mass audience. I think the easiest, and information can be very vital on TikTok as well. It's kind of like what Twitter I would say is slash used to be, where like news could just blow up really quickly on TikTok. So I think all of it is kind of valid. All arguments is valid. Oh, and lastly, free speech. But that kind of like goes on the news. But expression of free speech and a negative being censorship. So, um, I think I think they're all valid. For me personally, I most resonate with it being an attention span deficit. I first got TikTok when it was in 2018, and like I had that up until 2023, and definitely like so much time has been wasted just mindlessly scrolling, because I wasn't like a creator. Like I uploaded probably like 5 times, nothing like actually blew up. But when I was definitely like a comment, like I wouldn't leave comments. I would just be, I don't know what to say, like a commentless, postless viewer. Just kind of like a, there's a word, I don't know, it's just kind of like a ghost. Like I'm just uh God, I can't think of it right now. Um a lurker. Yeah. Okay, that sounds really bad. But basically I was just lurking on TikTok, so I would just be a viewer and just mindlessly scroll for hours. And you know it kind of came to a point in 2023 when I was like, I've been doing this for like 5 years. Like I put more effort into watching TikToks than I have doing like schoolwork. Like that's stupid, and it does it like, I think the algorithm is predatory because it tracks your, not only attention, right? It wants to give you the most amount of dopamine in the less amount of time as possible, and then it also uses your data to suggest you more things. So, like, suggest you things you like, even things you don't like, to make you want the things you like even more, if that makes sense. And then will with TikTok shops and such, like, it'll promote items, to sell to you, and uses your data to find things that you would most likely buy, and ads that are relevant to you. So, but this is my thing, and it's kind of a lot of my views on it. I agree with Charlie, Moist Critical, where this is kind of meaningless. Like, there's going to be a clone, and there already are. They're called is Instagram, Snapchat. Like they have Reels and YouTube Shorts. Snapchat is I think the Spotlight. So it's just I feel like an excuse to make it all American companies that do the same exact shit. And I definitely think it is mainly censorship. Like, to be honest, I do think it is the worst thing that you can download, at least especially when you're young, because it will soak up so much of your attention. And old people doing the same thing. Like, I remember when my mom got TikTok, I was just kind of like shocked because it's like, to me, it was kind of like Snapchat. It's like, I don't know, my mom having Snapchat is weird, but TikTok, it was, I don't know. It was strange to hear her scrolling through TikTok when I heard that, but she downloaded it or she uninstalled it because she was concerned about privacy. I uninstalled it because I was concerned about my attention span. And that leads me to the next relationship, which is Instagram. All of everything I said about the attention span just completely goes to waste. Like, I just moved my obsession from one app to another. And I, came to realize I'm like, oh, cool. Like, I went through all of 2024 without, TikTok. That was really cool. And then I just realized I'm sending my friend brain rot, like reels and posts all the time. And I'm spending hours procrastinating, just like I was with TikTok on Instagram. So this month I deactivated all my accounts, and because I have three accounts, one for like my main, the one I've always had, the spam, because like real close friends, something that like I actually upload to, and then I had well, I was going to do a tricking account, and I think I still will, but I need to get better at tricking, so that's not really even a priority to me. Um, so I deactivated all of them, and I haven't uninstalled the app, but every time, like at least the first few days, like clicking on Instagram, and then just seeing I have to fill out my like login information, which is so silly. Like that should be a normal thing to fill in your login information, but um, yeah, like I'm just too lazy to sign in every time. Like it's kind of like a little barrier step in my opinion. That's better than like those apps that will just like pop up like essentially like an ad, but it's like a hey, do you want to think about this? Or like when you put a time limit through iPhone. Anyways, I just noticed how that soaked up a lot of my time too, and um, yeah, it's it, definitely I spend a lot of my time on the internet, which is not even that crazy to say because everybody does it now. But is that really a good thing? You know? And I started thinking, I'm like, you know, there's so much, wrong in this world. And don't get me wrong, like before the internet, we had problems too. Like the same problems we have. I think it's just much more exposed now. But I think with giving up our attention so much to social media, we miss out on the things that like are actually happening around us and skills we could develop, like skills is just matching your intensity to and consistency, right? So consistency has to happen first, but then once you up your intensity, like your dedication essentially to whatever you're doing, be that as it may, like pottery, drawing, painting, uh, an instrument, you learn the basics, you get consistent at the practice, and then you up the difficulty and learn more complex things and start actually like going down the rabbit hole. We miss out on all of that when we spend 2 hours a day scrolling, and it seems so small at a time. But that's, I think, the worst part about these apps is what it soaks up your attention. And YouTube does the same thing. I definitely have a YouTube problem as well, though I like at least with YouTube, it can be educational. You just have to be very decisive about what you're watching. And though I will admit, sometimes I'm definitely not as decisive as I'd like to be, and I'll be watching something that like I definitely know I'd be just mad at if it's like news related, or it's just like covering drama or just complete slop. Like it's all slop. Like it's just and yeah, that's a big topic going around like slop content, but it's a real thing. Like even it goes further than YouTube. It's also like these streaming services, you know? But they at least I still think good movies and good TV shows are being made. I think that people are just recognizing, you know, kind of trash content more, you know? You know, people are I think becoming just less patient with it. Anyways, that's what I was I don't even know where I was at. Oh, I was on Instagram, but basically it replaced TikTok for me, and I'd like to go this year without being on it as much because I do want to create, but I think I'd prefer creating here on YouTube first and seeing what I can do with a bit of longer form content. And then lastly, I guess technically Snapchat and X, but nobody calls it X. It's Twitter. It's still Twitter. Well, call it like Twitter like apps because like who uses Threads? I'm not sure how Blue Sky is. I hear it's I don't know. I hear like mixed reviews. Like some people like it, some people don't. But it's just a Twitter clone. So I'll put Twitter and those kind of apps. I think Elon just kind of ruined the app. It's there's definitely a change between um, pre Elon Twitter and post Elon Twitter, and I definitely Elon propagating his voice to the degree he does is just kind of cringe. And then you like scroll through their app, and it's just rage bait and porn, And I'm not trying to do all that. Like it's just it's I think Twitter, on topic of slop content, Twitter is the worst of it. Twitter is the actual like bottom of the barrel of slop content. So, and then its clones are just sad imitations. Yeah. Snapchat, I deleted when I had gotten like serious into my relationship, and that's mainly because like I'm 21 now, and having Snapchat prior to that, like high school, it was a great way to keep in contact, like with friends and peers that, like, it was all one app to congregate on and not like having to text everybody. And I don't know, it's definitely like a young person's app, is what I'm getting at. And other than high school to keep in contact with my peers, I literally just used it for hoes and like three friends. And I always thought the streak thing was dumb after after I hit like I hit 1,000 one time with somebody very early, like in middle school, and then I just realized how dumb streaks were, at least to me. So, yeah. Other than like, I just don't see the point in having Snapchat as an adult unless like you're in college and you're trying to get into relationships, and then it's still applicable. I still, like I said, it's a young person's app, but I feel like once you like get a relationship and like kind of figure out what you want and who you are, Snapchat just becomes more stupid. And I really don't even talk to majority of these like high school peers anymore either. Like I don't really talk to anybody from college or high school on like Snapchat or Instagram. So it's just I think going social media less it was at least the right move for me because I'm also not creating on these apps. And creating is, I think, the best way to make these apps having a more healthy relationship with it when you're kind of just promoting yourself, your brand, whatever. But just as a viewer, and I think that's where it just becomes more of a slippery slope. I think that social media does have a good power to it because it gives a voice to the people, but sometimes sometimes the public just says everything on their mind and does everything on their mind. It makes cool stuff, but it's very interesting, and I think that's why it's interesting and like you scroll all the time because you get to interact and see what people do. But I think it's very easy to lose sight and control of it, which also, now like AI is so prevalent, especially in social media, that is you can't even trust that, you know, if you're socializing with a real person. So it kind of defeats the point of social media, and I think a lot more people are recognizing that, and I at least I hope so. But I think maybe the future will just be kind of regressing in a way back to more in-person interactions and the importance of that with the growth of AI and now robots being made. So that'd be very interesting. Anyways, that's my thoughts on the video. To wrap it up, I just noticed how much I was consuming content and I'd like to start creating content. So we'll see how that goes. Thanks for listening, and that's about it. See ya.